Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by Red Wing Shoes, located in the shops at Centerpoint in Grand Rapids at the corner of 28th Street and the Beltline. The store has everything you need for the worksite or the woods. Stop in or check them out online at redwingshoes.com. And by Mr. Muskie Charters, offering full-service guided fishing trips for walleye, muskie, bass, and sturgeon on Lake St. Clair and the Detroit and St. Clair rivers. Booking information is online at mrmuskiecharters.com. Hey everybody, welcome to Michigan Out of Doors, and thank you so much for joining us this week. We've got a really cool show this week. We're going to start in the east end of the Upper Peninsula. Our good friend Mark Romanak is going to take us fishing for Atlantic salmon out of the little town of Detour. You won't want to miss that. Some really cool fishing up there and a really informative story as well. Then we're going to head south to Memphis, Michigan. We're pretty lucky here in the state of Michigan to have so many good archery manufacturers. We're going to show you what it looks like to make a bow in this kind of this high-tech archery world with our friends at G5. Lots of good stuff on this week's program. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger, and it's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan Out of Doors.
What a beautiful day in the woods.
Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse, a sportsman's meat processor and Michigan destination since 1988. Offers a variety of homemade smoked meats and Michigan-made products in-store and online. The Country Smokehouse features an outdoor barbecue and bar. Details at countrysmokehouse.com. By Grilla Grills of Holland, Michigan, makers of wood pellet, charcoal grills, and professional pellet smokers. Grilla Grills are designed for ease of use to improve your grilling and smoking skills. More information at grillagrills.com. By AnglerQuest Pontoons, a mid-Michigan company building boats for fishermen by fishermen. AnglerQuest Pontoons are designed for comfort and functionality. On the web at anglerquestpontoons.com.
Soaking in the rich tradition of Michigan hunting for over 30 years, Vanguard is proud to sponsor our friends at Michigan Out of Doors TV.
If you're looking for a picturesque place to do some fishing, the UP has got to be at the top of the list. The St. Mary's River is one of those crown jewels. From walleye to perch to salmon, there's something for every angler. Mark and Jake Romanak were recently in the Detour Village area shooting an Atlantic salmon fishing show. No strangers to big lake salmon fishing, they quickly got dialed into this unique fishery.
Hey Dad, this slide diver?
Yeah.
Was only 25 back, so he is right at the back of the boat.
Yeah, well, I got a net ready, so be patient. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Not ready.
There he is. He's ready for you now. You ready?
Close.
Try and scoop him.
Got him. Hey, look at that.
Got him in the scoop.
There you go, man.
I think the cat's out of the bag. We're after Atlantic salmon, and we're in the Detour Passage. What a cool species of fish. You gotta wake up early. They're just like any salmon. And when you see that diver just ripping on an early morning, I still got a lot of sleep in my eyes. Well, we got an Atlantic, man. What a pretty fish.
There's fish, outside board. Yes. Woo-hoo-hoo. We are hooked up again. You know, the neat thing about Atlantic salmon is there's a great story associated with these fish. Not only are they a great eating fish and an exciting fish to catch, but they are also one of the more difficult fish in the Great Lakes to stock. And that's basically what we're dealing with here. Is we're dealing with a hatchery program. And not only does the Michigan Department of Natural Resources get involved in stocking these fish, but the college kids up at Lake Superior State, they're involved and they're raising fish as well. Their aquaculture program is considered to be state-of-the-art here in the United States. They have an effective, successful, oh, he's jumping back there. They have a successful Atlantic salmon program second to none. And they've created a unique fishery up here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan that is just amazing, just amazing. Whew, baby, please stay buckled up. These are such beautiful fish. You know, everyone thinks about salmon in the Great Lakes. Of course, they think of Pacific salmon, things like coho and king salmon. And Atlantic salmon are a completely different species. Their life cycle is different. Their eating habits are different. Everything about them is different. The one thing, though, that is pretty similar to Pacific salmon is these fish like to chew early in the day, low light. So if you're going to target them, you need to be out early and you need to be out late. So you're going to see a lot of sunrises and you're going to see a lot of sunsets if you target Atlantic salmon.
Oh my goodness, Dad, what a beautiful fish. Lift up. Go ahead and lift up.
Oh, no.
Swing and a miss.
He's in the diver. Oh, down under. Okay, he's still there. He's still there. Whew. My heart is pounding. What a beautiful fish. What a beautiful fish. And it's typical of Atlantic salmon. Fish, as soon as he saw the boat, he went crazy.
He did not like that.
He went crazy. So about the time you think you own them, you do not own them.
You're back to the leader, right?
I'm back to the leader. You should start to see some color on this fish here quickly.
All right, why don't you try taking a couple steps back?
There he goes again. There he goes.
How many
again.
times has that leg cord gone back out?
That's the third time now. So let's see if we can't get him to tire up a little bit here.
Doesn't really get much better than this. Watching that sunrise coming over Drummond Island. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Okay, let's see if we can get him this time.
Got him in the scoop, Dad. What a beautiful, beautiful Atlantic. Wow.
I cannot wait to show you this fish. This is one of the coolest fish I've ever caught in my life. I'm telling you, this is a cool fish. Look at that. Whoa. My word. That big old cape on him. Woo! Now that is a fish that you will remember. If you come to Detour Passage and you catch a salmon like this, you will absolutely remember it. Woo, baby. That's special. That is special. 14.9.
Atlantic salmon are excellent table fare. The steaks are firm and mild compared to kings and well worth putting a few in the live well. Fishing between Drummond Island and the mainland, the Detour Passage is a bottleneck that produces good salmon fishing from the end of June through July.
Well, as you can see here, we're playing bumper boats with the freighters. Detour Passage is actually the lower end of the St. Mary's River, so it's one of the busiest shipping channels in all of the Great Lakes. And so you're going to see a lot of freighters here. They own the water, so when they come through, you got to get out of their way.
All right, so I'm just hooking up my downrigger right now. And if you haven't fished a downrigger, it's probably one of the most simple techniques for catching any kind of trout and salmon. Basically all it is a downrigger ball, a chunk of weight, right? And you hook that up to an offshore clip and you send that down. And you're sending it straight directly below the boat is what that downrigger ball is doing. And in this case, I have a 12-pound downrigger ball. And when I send that down, basically these fish that we've been catching so far this morning have been relatively high, 25 foot down. And so I'm going to put that downrigger ball down and I'm going to put it in the holder. But that's not good enough for me. We live in the state of Michigan, or I personally live in the state of Michigan. And so what I can add is something that they call a slider or an add-a-line. And basically all it is a 6-foot piece of fluorocarbon, and there's a cross-lock snap on one end and a spoon on the other end. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this free slider and I'm going to hook it to the main line. And I'm just going to grab the rod here, give myself a little slack. I'm going to hook it right here on the main line. Put that cross-lock snap on there, lock it up. Then I'm going to take the line, the slider, I'm going to flip it in the drink, and I'm gonna reel up. And now what happens is that'll slide down to the bow and the line. And what you've just done is you've just made one presentation, two presentations. You've doubled your odds. You put twice as many spoons down there. Yeah, that slider has caught quite a few fish, and so it's not very far down, but since these fish are anywhere in the water column, you never know. And putting that extra spoon in the water never hurts.
Atlantic salmon are closely related to brown trout, and they're commonly misidentified because they look a lot like brown trout. The difference is that brown trout tend to have big spots, and the spots are throughout the body of the fish. Atlantics have little dots or X's, and they tend to be on the upper half of the fish. Also, if you look at the head, the Atlantic has got much more streamlined torpedo-shaped head, and the kype is considerably different as well. So if you look closely, there are some distinguishing features that make it easy to tell if you're looking at an Atlantic or if you're looking at a brown trout.
Wow, is that so much fun.
He's all yours, Jake. Oh yeah, beautiful fish. Just like that, Jake. Keep him coming, keep him coming.
Here we go, scoop him down.
He's in the scoop, man. That's the way to do it. You own him right from the get-go.
Chunky little football, Dad.
Oh, yeah, chunky, right.
And as fast as that board went back, man, these fish are so much fun. And you can see right here that this has a left pectoral fin clip. One of the really cool things about this fishery is because it's from LSSU and these college kids are doing this fishery, they're doing a really good job of managing it to the point of where I can actually go online and I can see what year this fish was stocked, to give you an idea of the size of the fish and how fast they're growing. And so they're kind of stocking these fish around, around Lake Huron right now, but by far this has become the best fishery right here. And it's just really cool to see that. They seem to be showing up in places that we never expect them to show up, and we're gonna catch them while they're here.
Pretty much everything is fired today. We've had multiple fish on our lake core rigs. We've had multiple bites on our divers. We've caught fish on the downriggers as well. So everything has fired today, which is an indication of a good bite. That's what we like to see. We got the depth dialed in. Everything is in the top 40 feet. And now that we know that, we got a lot of gear in the most productive zones.
A little more. There we go. Got him in the scoop. Nice fish, Dad.
Spectacular. You know, earlier today we talked about oranges being very productive, and that's definitely been the go-to for us today. Every spoon that's fired today has at least had some orange on it. No question about it. And again, this one here happens to be a mini streak. The smaller spoons have been more productive today than the standard size spoons.
Wow. Another beautiful Atlantic. The colors, I don't know if I'm hoping it shows on camera as good as it does in real life, but that green back when it's coming through the water
is absolutely
gorgeous.
Look here, he's got a lamprey scar on him.
Yep.
There's still a lot of lampreys in the system here.
Looks like there's another one on the back too.
But he's been a survivor, so.
He ain't surviving no more. He's gonna be a sandwich now. These things are so good.
Oh, they are good eating. I'd high five you, but your hands are a little full right now, so man, oh man.
Absolutely, what a beautiful fish.
We are hooked up. Oh my goodness. Jaker, this one's on the rigger, so he's gonna get here quick, man.
I'm gonna grab the net really quick. Woo! Look at this, we got freighters coming by.
We got freighters, we got Atlantics, we got fish, man.
That is so cool.
Woo!
Man, that rigger popped and we were up on that thing so quick. Being that I was on that slider, he came up fairly quick, but this is a nice fish.
Let me see if I can get him to you.
There we go, Dad. We got him in the scoop. Nice fish. Nice fish.
I am so tickled by that. Woo! Let's put some stuff down and grab us a fish. Look at this, man. We got Atlantics and we got freighters. That freighter brought us some good luck. That is so cool. This one hit on the rigger and he hit on the stacker, which means it was the higher spoon. And we saw the fish actually come out of the water before we saw the rod bucking. And man, I tell you, it all happened in a hurry. That's the fastest one we've got in the boat, but it's a beautiful fish.
It's right up there as one of the more pretty ones today too, Dad. I mean, there's real deep spots on that fish.
No kidding, no kidding.
The cool thing about these, it's like not one is alike. Everyone's just a little bit different.
No, that's true, that is true. One of the other things to keep in mind about Atlantic salmon is they're considered to be one of the best eating salmon, and we actually had them for dinner while we were up here, and I have to agree, they are outstanding. The flesh is very firm and very, very flavorful. They are a great eating salmon if you like salmon.
Special thanks to the Romanaks for sharing their salmon fishing expertise and some fantastic Atlantic salmon fishing in the St. Mary's River. There are few places as beautiful as this in Michigan's out of doors.
Well, the state of Michigan has always been a major player in the world of archery. We have lots of great manufacturers here in the state of Michigan, one of which is our friends at G5 over in Memphis, Michigan. We're going to show you what goes into making some of the high-tech archery equipment that we have on the market today. Okay, well, we are over here in Memphis, Michigan today at G5. And Lou, it's been probably 5 years, I think, since we've been here.
Yes, it has.
And so tell me, for the viewers out there that are not familiar with G5, tell me, how did you guys get started?
Well, G5 and Prime actually started with my dad. So I'm the second generation, and then I have sons, Matt and Nate is their third generation. G5 came from the fact that I've got 5 kids, and 5 is a biblical number for grace. We had 5 broadheads that we had originally designed too, but that's where the G5, it's kind of like you guys, you're like the J3, you know, Jimmy, Jordan, and Jenny, we've got 5 graces here. And that's,
there we go.
Yeah, so that's important for us to know that our family in that G5, that's kind of the start of the company. And it started in 1966 by my dad, and we did a lot of precision machining for the auto industry, for the medical industry, and now we're doing quite a bit with gun industry. But back in 2000, when my sons Matt and Nate started to graduate with marketing degrees, we decided, hey, let's look around and start producing our own products. Instead of making precision parts for other people, we decided, hey, let's see what we're good at and what we can apply. I'm kind of like a self-taught archer, and that's Nate, and whatever, all they know about archery, they learn from me. But we started looking around in the archery industry, and so we decided that the broadheads that we were using could be made better. And that story, I think, is pretty common, I guess. We sit in tree stands and look at these things and for many hours, and we say, gee, I could do that better. Well, we actually have been using a process called metal injection molding, which is MIM, and we decided that that process that we were using could be used to make a better broadhead. And so in 2000, we looked at the patentability and found out that it was patentable. So our B-52 and Montec were our first products within the archery industry, and that was the year 2000. Wow. Since then, we've got a whole line of broadheads, but what's new, to your point, in the last few years, we've been building more and more top-end bows, and our Cadillac bows are Prime. And all our new technologies that we've developed, we've got quite a few patents that are in that, are built into that Prime. And then to try to control cost, we've been putting some of those ideas into our Quest line. And that's kind of where we've started. We started relatively small. We had 20 or 30 people. We're up to 90-some people on 3 shifts here in Michigan.
And over here in Memphis, people don't even know where Memphis is. No. Where are we located in the state here?
Yeah, Memphis, Michigan. We're about an hour north of Detroit, probably 25 miles out of Port Huron, in the southern thumb. Nice. And we've been here since I was that short.
Lou, something different about G5 is definitely the family feel that you get here. You're different from some other groups that are getting bought out by larger conglomerates. Why is being a family-owned, family-run business important for you guys?
It's really what we are, what we do. We really love doing this stuff in archery. Otherwise, we'd be making parts for cars, and that's, after a while, it gets boring because we did that. But I think the fact that we are diversified, most of our revenue is generated from archery, but we still make parts for the medical industry and the gun industry, for example. It helps with cash flow and the business side of it, and that helps us stay healthy.
Nice. Well, I know you're going to give Jenny kind of a little factory tour here coming up, but before we let you go off and do that, what's the future hold? The next 5-10 years, what can people what are you hoping for in the coming years?
Well, again, to stay in the archery industry, we have lots of ideas that have yet to come to fruition. So stay tuned on that. Our bows are going to be, our prime bow is known for its accuracy, so we're always improving that accuracy by using better materials, by holding tighter tolerances, and our engineers are getting better and better.
Okay, well, we're here with Lou Grace, owner of G5. And Lou, you're going to kind of take us through, we just heard about the whole history of what you do here and how you got started and what you're doing today. And now we're going to take a look at how it all happens and how you make the bows out here.
Okay, very good. What you're hearing in the back is some machines on our R&D section. Before we actually produce product, we go through a pretty extensive R&D and testing. As an example, our limbs, anytime we do anything to a limb for one of our bows, whether it's put a different kind of a paint on it, we have to go through testing. And what we want to do is we want to be able to get to hundreds of thousands of cycles on a limb before we actually take that limb and put it on a product. So those machines are specialized machines that we build and test, and that's what our R&D department does.
So what are you doing in here, Lou?
We start off with a chunk of aluminum like this is a bar stock, and this eventually is going to be a cam. And what we have set up here is our cam making machine. We machine top half of it this way, and then it's flipped over and we machine the other half. And that's what you can see here are the cams being built. But they're out of a solid piece of aluminum like this. On our new bow, our flagship bow, it's the Logic. We actually went to a split limb, and that's really new for us because most of our limbs are like this. They're single piece. Yeah. And we meant single piece because it was very difficult to get split limbs to have the precision that we were looking for. So this year in our Logic, we came up with a new way of holding the axle. It's a compression axle, which it's a patented, it's pending to hold those pieces together. And if without that axle holding that together, we would have never attempted to make a split limb. It just wasn't consistent enough. So our new bow, the Logic, has that technology on it, and it has that compressive axle. What we want to illustrate here is that we don't assume that you machine it and it's good. Every single limb has to be checked and balanced. The top limb has to match the bottom limb, and that those limbs, when they go over to the other building to get assembled, they have to be right within 3 pounds. No one wants to buy a 60-pound bow and only get 59 pounds out of it, you know, or they don't want 68 pounds. It has to be between if it's a 60-pound bow, they want it between 60 and 63 pounds. The risers start off like this, and if you want to,
that's heavy. Yeah,
it weighs about 24 pounds at this point. But when we're done with it, it weighs less than 2 pounds.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah. So all of this material has to come off of that, and it takes about an hour, a little over an hour to do that. Okay. And that's what's done in these little larger machines. Jenny, one of the things that we're very proud of is that Fred Bear is from Michigan. And Fred Bear always taught that if you want to tell whether your broadhead is sharp enough, you can use a rubber band. So we actually, for testing sharpness, we take the rubber band like this, and after we sharpen it, we actually go one stroke down, and it has to cut that rubber band.
That is cool.
So what this cell does is that it is basically sharpening the edges on it, and that's how we check for sharpness. There's a number of our bows that we paint black or tan or green this year, but many of them are camoed, and this process is a sublimation process. And what we're doing is we do something a little different. It's not hydrographics, it's called sublimation, and the sublimated inks get heated and they go directly right into the paint. So it's much more durable camouflage than anything else, much more durable than hydrographics.
It's always nice to see Michigan companies doing well in the outdoor industry, and getting to see the products made firsthand really makes you appreciate the time and effort that goes into making them. Special thanks to Lou and everyone else involved for showing us around the G5 factory here in Memphis, Michigan.
Well, hey everybody, thank you so much for watching Michigan Out of Doors this week. If you missed part of this week's show or last week's show, you can always check us out online at MichiganOutofDoorsTV.com. We have full episodes of the show there. And if you do the Facebook thing or social media, we're on there as well on multiple platforms where you can kind of keep track of us on a day-to-day basis and see what we're up to. And if you do the YouTube thing, you can actually subscribe to our channel there and you get an email anytime we post something new. Lots of good stuff coming over the next several weeks. We've been out on the water all over the state of Michigan, so make sure that you are joining us. And if we don't see you in the woods or on the water, hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or greenstonefcs.com. Michigan's hunters and anglers are essential partners to the health of the state's wildlife and habitats. The Michigan Wildlife Council is dedicated to ensuring our hunting and fishing heritage and Michigan's natural resources are preserved for future generations. By Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises of Munising, exploring Lake Superior's Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. With its sandstone cliffs, caves, waterfalls, and lighthouses, Pictured Rocks Boat Cruise is on the web at picturedrocks.com. Closed captioning provided by Marvo Mineral, makers of Lucky Buck, deer management products including minerals to supplement deer diets year-round to improve health and antler growth.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land. I am a Michigan man. From the Keweenaw down to St. Joe, Kalamazoo, East to Monroe, to St. Marie and back again. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love